I got my Canon 7D a couple days ago and wanted to give my first thoughts about what it's like to shoot video with the Canon 7D. So we went out this morning, I took some video, didn't do anything with the video, used all the presets. The only thing that I'm manually setting here is the white balance. Exported the video using MPEG Streamclip to Apple Intermediate Codec and dropped it into a Final Cut Express timeline. And there is Natasha doing her best to scrape off the windshield of my car. So the first most important thing to talk about when you're shooting video with the Canon 7D is that you cannot continuously focus on a moving subject like you could with a camcorder. And that's a pretty big deal if you're expecting this to work like a camcorder. What it means in practice is that you just got to think a little bit ahead when you're using it to shoot video. It'll take anywhere from a half a second to a couple seconds to use the autofocus, get what you need to in focus, and then if your subject is moving around, it's going to go in and out of focus pretty quickly. And also, if you're too busy worried about the focus, you're going to have less time to devote to things like the exposure, ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and all that stuff. So I found it was better to just keep the other stuff in automatic mode. And sometimes I was using the autofocus if I could have a couple seconds ahead of time to get what I needed to in focus, and then it was going to stay in focus. And if I had something that I could not use autofocus, I just switched to manual focus and did my best to keep up. It seemed to work pretty well, but make sure that whoever you're with is being patient, that you're learning how to use their camera and they're not complaining about being outside in the freezing cold while you're trying to figure out how to get your camera in focus, especially if you're new to the camera. Other than that, the feature set that I'm using so far is pretty much offered in the lower models as well. A couple things that I like nice about the 7D that are not offered in the lower models are the build quality. It is a magnesium alloy chassis which feels really solid in your hands. The interface is pretty nice as well. I did not have any trouble switching between different autofocusing modes and getting to whatever I needed to with just a couple clicks of the button. It does shoot, like I said before, at 24 frames per second, which a lot of people are really excited about, but since I don't have that great of a setup, I'm sticking to 30 frames per second, which the other Canon that shoots video, the cheaper one, cannot do. I believe the other one shoots 30 frames per second at 720p. One challenge that I've had that I haven't quite figured out how to overcome is the best way to shoot slow motion. When I use Final Cut slow motion, it looks pretty jittery, and I'm not interested in spending any money to do slow motion. So if anybody knows any good ways to shoot slow motion with the Canon 7D with only Final Cut Express or whatever free software is available, please let me know, because I haven't been able to resolve that problem yet. But other than that, I'm happy with the camera. I'm shooting here with a 50mm 1.8 Canon lens, which is a 35mm equivalent of an 80mm lens, and because that's zoomed in a little bit, it means that handheld shooting in video, you even have to be a little bit more careful about how steady you hold the camera. So that's another challenge to overcome. But provided that there are some drawbacks to shooting video SLR, I think it's a great camera.